Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to talk about a topic that's a little bit uncomfortable to talk about in like real life. And that's the idea that young people are the sacrifice of society, right? And I remember first hearing about how like the Aztecs did it, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, thank goodness that we live in a rational and more modern society, and we would never do that. And after thinking about all the troubles and pains and emotional turmoil that I had as like a young person and reflecting upon that, I realize we do that, right? We absolutely do that. Now I'm going to just talk about this from a financial sense, but if I were to choose between being a young person today in 2024 versus being a young person in, let's say, 1960, like 18 years old, which who would probably be better off? Like, where would I rather be? And I'd probably be in like the 18-year-old in the 1960s because, even if I worked at a factory, right? Even if I worked at a factory, I and didn't go to college, I could simply just buy a home and take care of my family and have a pretty decent life, right? Whereas nowadays, young people don't have as much opportunities, and whatever it is that they're doing is probably just the benefit of someone who was able to prosper in that era, which is really sad. I mean, think about just going to college, right? So if you went to college in, let's say, the 1960s, it was probably a lot cheaper, like way, way, way cheaper, even if you include inflation, than it is today, right? So that's like a plus one for whoever went to college in 1950. Now, another thing that the person who went to college in 1950 or 1960 had is that you probably could get a job easily right after. And that's just a simple supply and demand equation. So if you don't know anything about economics, the more you increase the supply of something, the less valuable it gets, right? It has nothing to do with quality. Price is always a matter of supply and demand. Now, good quality can drive up demand, but in general, when you increase the supply of something, you decrease the price of whatever it is. So, um, back then, because there was such little supply of college graduates, hence you get a lot you job easily and get a lot more money at that time in the marketplace. Nowadays, because there's so many people go to college and everybody goes to college, guess what? Again, it's that supply and demand equation. The more supply you have of something, the less valuable it is, right? And not only that, um, one of the things you have to do is just take out student loans. And so, you're going to give a young person who has no job, no income, no credit, no real history of being able to prove that they can pay off debt. You're going to put them in debt, and not only that, you're not going to allow them to kind of get rid of it through bankruptcy, right? And you know what the sad part is that in this country, it was founded on giving people chances. Like one of the reasons why we have bankruptcy is because a lot of our founding fathers were indentured servants, and we wanted to give people chances to start over. So if you made an honest attempt to, let's say, start a business and you just needed a reset, that's what bankruptcy is for. But you have a whole generations of people who um, make these mistakes, and because they're young and naive, and nobody explains to them how anything works, it, we've just basically sacrificed them their financial well-being and probably along with their mental well-being too, right? So if you take a look at this article that says student loan debt takes a toll on a vulnerable population's mental health, right? So many young adults facing the largest student loan burden in history report depression, anxiety, and overhanging sense of dread. And that's because we're just playing this big joke on them, right? The big joke is we put them in debt. Number one, we put them in debt. Number two, we don't teach them anything like substantial in life. We don't teach them how to survive. We don't teach them how to manage their finances. We don't teach them how to do their taxes. We don't teach them how to do anything, right? That's like the big joke. And not only that, it's just there's no leadership. So the all of their teachers, leader authority figures have basically skirted their responsibility to someone else. So like if you ever were a teacher, like for example, I was a teacher briefly, And I remember getting these kids who can't even do basic things at their grade level. And I've been seeing TikTok videos about this. The reason why that happens is because their previous teacher what just essentially passed the buck to the next teacher. And it's not really their fault too. It's like the fault of the system, but I'll go that over that in another video. But again, we've sacrificed them because we've put them in a bad financial position and decided that we're not going to teach them anything substantive in real life, right? And that's really sad. And if you just kind of type Google search of student loan crisis, so let me just type in student loan crisis, you could see that um, we have at least $1 trillion of debt. It says 1.6 trillion by the end of 2023. So we're pretty much there. And why is there so much debt? And who is it benefiting, right? Is it benefiting students? But because it doesn't seem like it is based on the articles I read. The fact that there's a mental health crisis that's exacerbated. I wouldn't say it's the only cause, but it's exacerbated by just putting young people in debt without teaching anything real, right? And so who does it benefit? It benefits the class of people who run our educational institutions. Okay? And the fact that you can't bankrupt them is probably why it's just a big sacrifice. And we push them into a certain institution that's saying that, well, hey, if you don't go here, then this is going to be like the biggest mistake of your life. And usually when they go there, it is the biggest mistake of their life, which is ironic. And the fact that people keep falling for this trap is like the most mind-blowing thing ever. But that's what we do today in modern society. And you could find this behavior almost anywhere, right? I've been to several countries. I just noticed the same thing. And it's like, huh, like they have a young person student unemployment problem too. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, so this is Crane Atlanta Mentorship. Now, here's the thing. In our group, we're going to actually teach you something substantive, right? We're going to teach you velocity banking. We're going to teach you how to buy real estate at a discount. Or we're going to talk about, financial and real estate investing literacy. And if you're interested in joining this group, go ahead and click the Google form link below, right? But I don't know if you're a young person who's frustrated right now, but I know back then when I was your age, if you're a young person, um, I was just really frustrated, right? I remember going to class and seeing the teacher just kind of half-ass their teaching, right? And students not even making an effort to get to know each other, and it was just like really clicking. It's like, oh my goodness, this is a waste of time. And I'm just really, I don't know if depressed is the right word, but yeah, I'm really depressed because I just feel like I'm there not for my benefit, which is what I was told, but my presence is just essentially benefiting um, other people who are in charge of the institution that I'll never meet. Okay. All right. So again, Google form down below if you want to join a group. Other than that, yeah, have a great day and we'll speak next time.